Okay, so here we are. We're at the base of Krysik's newer model. Again, it's the same model. The lighting is a little bit more consistent because obviously the interiors are working fine and perfect. This will give you an idea exactly of what the main structures of the model are. So it's basically the architecture for the entire building, sorry, for the entire city. So it's buildings and again, all the texturing and all the other stuff. That's something that you have the freedom to interpret the city whichever way you want. Just in case you look at my build and you don't like something, you can go ahead and do what you want. So as you can see, these spaces are a lot larger. This is what I sort of like divvied up into smaller quarters and then made that into the market district. I also put some walls here with M2s and separated this area as well. And again, I put in a couple more buildings to sort of like block off some areas. And here we go in the back. This is the building complex structure where my barracks are. This is what Krysik has added into the new building. And yep, so it's basically the building that I showed you. It's dual. There's a bit of a platform there with the Lordaeron emblem, and that essentially gives you an idea of how that works. Now, in my version 2, these walls and towers aren't present because there's a bunch of buildings in there. But in this version, yeah, there's a sort of a natural sort of like courtyard there that cuts off, and then you have this area as well. So again, you can do pretty much whatever you want with this model, develop it whichever way you want. Like I said, I based mine off of my previous build of the Undercity, so it made sense for me not to reimagine things, but to basically work off of what I had already pre-designed. So yep, so that's pretty much the latest model. The latest model, again, like I said, it includes these towers, these wall structures there, as well as some of the interiors, and some of the interiors for the towers. I've had some discussions with Krysik, yeah, so this was fairly cool. I said it would be very nice to actually be able to have like not just the base of one of these towers, but also be able to travel up, and once we get to that point, actually come up and exit on the top ramparts of the tower. And in the distance there, we can see the Lordaeron, my Caverns of Time version of Lordaeron that you saw in the previous video. So yep, so that's basically some of that. But now let me show you over here some of the main work. So Krysik did a great job in restoring the interiors here, and he opened up a lot of these areas. So he gave interiors. You have to remember, none of these had actual interiors, so all of these, it might look like simply he removed the doors, but actually he built the insides as well. Lovely work matching the external areas as well. Same here, created these areas. There's a lot of like potential in those like little nooks and crannies that he developed. And he first started working on this model a while back when he did some of the edits for the Undercity for my first build. Again, same thing here. You have that open area. You can use it for whatever you want. You can use shops. You can use it for I don't know, RP areas, whatever it is that you want potentially. And it's the same thing on this side here. You got more of that. So essentially all the courtyard structures that were once closed off in the original model, or actually the Cataclysm model, have now been opened up. And so another question that we had in the development was, it's like, what else should we do? Well, he initially started doing the interiors. We looked at this building on the outside and said it'd be nice, and he added these chambers on the sides. We sort of collaborated, going back and forth on what we thought would be nice additions to have to those areas, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at them right now as sort of like the final bit of this walkthrough. So one of the things, once this area was sort of finished, was I was like, well, we can have some pillars. Obviously, palaces always make use of palace structures, as well as having windows from the outside. So once the windows were added, we had to make sure, or Krysik had to make sure, obviously, that that they matched on the outside. And this was one of the this is one of two outside chambers, and here's the other one, and then obviously there's the Lordaeron detail in the back. Now, the other main thing that is worth noting is the side chambers. And so the side chambers are sort of like hallways, which correspond to the outside curve of the building. And again, there's a lot of things that you can do with these areas, a lot of ways that you can dress them up. So they're very cool and very interesting indeed. And here in the back, obviously, you have some chambers as well. So I believe that right now there's only this side is made available. If looking at the model, the other side is there present, but the opening in the walls haven't been made. So I'm assuming he's going to get to that at some point. If we go down to this area, it would be, we're going basically through the same areas as if you would go down into Undercity, but obviously that is closed off. And so there's not much more to tell there, other than, you know, looking around and seeing that all the textures are properly restored. This is there's sort of there's 5 entries / exits to this central chamber. The 2 diagonal ones lead back into the throne room that way. And then these 2, obviously, they go down into that area, and they would lead to where the Undercity elevators would be. The back, and this is not something that I have discussed with Krysik, but I was thinking that it would be cool if instead of going down, this could actually lead to another small chamber, which would act sort of like a chapel. In a way, and it sort of corresponds to the external part of the model. So the area that I would be talking would be this nubbin here, where you have these 4 windows and this sort of this particular space. So by looking at interior at where like things line up, that's a way that it could line up. Again, it's not something that I've had a chance to discuss with Krysik as of yet. And it's not also a requirement at all. I just thought maybe it would be neat, instead of just having these corridors that lead to anywhere, sort of like just extending it, stopping here, and then just having that small sort of like chapel area in the back. In terms of a castle structure, I think it makes kind of sense. So yeah, that's it, and that's where we're at right now with the Lordaeron model. For those of you interested, first of all, please note and realize that the version that I am building is not a replacement for the Tirisfal version. It is in fact a instanced version where I am only planning to develop the city and the immediate surroundings, and there will be limits. So it's very much, imagine it as a Caverns of Time's instanced version of the city. My future plans is that I will also add the back lake, just in case anyone climbs the walls so that they can actually see. And there might be some other minor changes that I might do to it, but for the time being, it is what it is. Now, in terms of it being downloadable, first and foremost, remember that the person who's developing this is Krysik. So until Krysik makes this resource available, I'm not going to release it to the public. So once that goes public, then yes, we can talk about how I will go about in sharing this model with all of you out there in the community. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a great time and that you all enjoy. And you know, rest assured that this is coming along and that it will be available for all of you. So for those of you who want just the resources here to actually replace the Undercity in-game and make whatever version of the game that you want available, that's coming. So, having said that, I feel like I've talked for quite a bit. So until next time, everybody, take it easy, and bye-bye.